Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Stefan Vreese from This is Basketball, and this is our newest episode of the TIB Playground. And today we have a special guest, a Belgian line, a rookie Belgian line that is now playing in Lithuania. Andy van Vliet, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking out the time. It's for everybody a special situation, and I think it's nothing different from you. How is the situation there now in Lithuania?
The whole country is in a lockdown still. So it's been on a lockdown for the past 2-3 months, something like that. And I think it lasts until February. It might extend, we'll see. But yeah, the whole country is on lockdown, so there's really nothing to do. At the moment, all it is, it's basketball, sleep, grocery store, and nothing. No activities. So.
Well, some would say that's like the ideal life, no? Like just practicing basketball, sleep, rest,
I mean,
eat.
it gets very monotone, so
Yeah,
it's nice to take your mind off of basketball every now and then and go visit a new city because you can't even go between cities now.
oh,
They get
yeah.
cops controlling the highways and everything, so you can't really go to Vilnius or something like that. So
Yeah, because you're not in the capital, right?
no, I'm not. I'm in the third biggest city in Lithuania.
I was looking at the name of the city, but I'm gonna let you pronounce it so I don't make any mistakes there.
It's basically the same as the French club Cholet.
Ah, okay, that's how you pronounce it.
Same pronunciation. Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
Cholet. So if people ask you where do you play, you say Cholet without even mentioning Lithuania, or
Exactly.
no. All jokes aside, I can say that you're like a 25-year-old rookie, which sounds a little bit weird, of course, because you're already 25. But um, let's start at the beginning. You played several years with youth teams of Antwerp. You're born and raised in Antwerp, in Belgium. You've played a lot of years with the youth teams of Antwerp Giants, with the second team. You made some appearances with the first team, but then you chose to leave for America, for the NCAA, and more specifically for Wisconsin in 2015. Why that decision? Why did you decide to go to America at that time?
Yeah. At the moment, I mean, back when I was 17, 18 years old playing for Antwerp, um, I was really skinny, really lightweight. And, we practiced like every day, sometimes twice a day. And we lifted maybe once or two times a week. And for me, I needed to lift, I needed to gain weight. And with so many practices, um, you know, so many times you had to play basketball, so there wasn't really a lot of time to be in that weight room or to gain weight. And obviously, college being like known for being a very physical competition and being very heavy on the weightlifting, that was one of the points for me to say like, okay, I want to go there and I want to invest in my body and become better on that aspect. I felt like I was technically a good player. So I feel like, yeah, the physical aspect was something I really lacked at that age.
So was that something that the club couldn't provide you, or just because of the amount of practices and games that you weren't like able to really focus on building your body as well?
No, I mean, because at that time I still had to go through school as well.
Oh yeah.
So you're sitting in school the whole day. Then right after school, you have to hurry to practice with the second team. Then sometimes you have to stay with the first team. Then you got to play one or two games with the second division team, and then back in the day with the juniors team or something.
Mm.
And then on a Sunday, you have to travel with the first team. So there's really not a whole lot of time to go to that weight room. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of a hard thing to combine.
So when was like the time that you really started thinking about, okay, I need to do something about my body. I need to go to America, because we all know, people see documentaries on Netflix and on television, on YouTube, how a life of a college player looks like, and it's really a good combination between school, building your body indeed, and basketball. But for you, when did you start thinking about this? Like, this is something I need to do.
Really, not until late. I think not until like the year before I actually went. Because my plan was always to, stay in Belgium,
Mm-hmm.
um, try to play in Belgian first division, and then maybe go to college in Belgium as well, get a degree. But yeah, no, like about a year before I left to the States, that kind of changed, and my mind process was like, okay, maybe this is something I want to do. And then, speaking to the Americans that I played with in the first team too, they had nothing but good words, and they really said too, like, this is something that is going to really benefit you in so many ways. And on top of that, it's an amazing life experience too. So yeah, I'm glad I made that step.
So it was really through the players of Antwerp Giants that you get to know how lifestyle of NCAA look like.
A little
And
little bit, but at the time, Thomas Zekiazili was going through the same process.
yeah.
Um, he kind of opened the door for me a little bit too, with his announcement that he was going. It kind of made it easier for me. He was
Mhm.
the first one of Antwerp to really leave and go to college. So yeah, we left at the same time. So it
Mhm.
was the right timing.
Yeah. But it wasn't like that you said, okay, if I want to be a player for the first team, I need to do this. Was that also in your mind? Like, okay, this is something I need for
You
that?
going to college or?
Yeah, going to college, that you would say like, okay, if I do this, I'm pretty sure that I will be able to come back and play at the first team.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have ended up being fine if I stayed in Belgium, but I think going to college just gave me a total different experience, a different learning experience, a different view on things, and yeah, I think that was really necessary for a player like me.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, why Wisconsin? So you were deciding to go to NCAA. What were your options, and why did you pick Wisconsin in the end?
Yeah, so I kind of started getting recruited as soon as I, announced that I wanted to go to college. In the beginning, it was really, smaller schools that contacted me, and I wasn't really intrigued by that. It's like
Hmm.
I want to go to a school nobody's ever heard of or something like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of me being young. But yeah, no, I got recruited by Wisconsin, Washington State. I was in the Pac-12. I got recruited by St. Mary's. I was in the same conference with Gonzaga and those schools, and Oklahoma State as well. So those were really the four schools that I took visits to. And yeah, I mean, Wisconsin was the first stop, and immediately, blown away.
Hmm.
Great program. At the time, Bo Ryan was a coach there. He's now in the Hall of Fame for college basketball. So, that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Great coach. Um, their recruitment was really good. Obviously, they had a great history of players there, that kind of had my build. Tall shooter, technically sound, not the strongest guys or the most physical, but they made it work. So that was kind of the things that drew me into that. And then obviously it's a great conference, one of the best conferences in college. So you play great teams like Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue, schools like that. So yeah, that kind of drew me into Wisconsin.
What made you? What was the feeling when you first step a foot on that campus? Like, how did it feel like? What was the experience like? I mean, you're coming from Belgium, from Antwerp. Okay, Antwerp is a big city, but I can imagine if you go to a a school like Wisconsin, Division One school,
Yeah.
and you see the atmosphere, you see the facilities. What impact did it make on you?
I mean, it's huge. It's like one big college town. It's only people your age, and then it's like 50. At the time, it was 55,000 students in this one town. So that was crazy, like mind blowing. So um, obviously, yeah, Antwerp is a big city, but it's completely different. It was also good for me, to have those facilities that come with such a big time school, because you can really go to the gym whenever you want, which in Belgium is kind of a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
You got to speak to this person, and that person has to give you the key, and then you have to do this. And I mean, in Wisconsin, it was just easy. All you had to do was swipe your card, and you're in the gym.
really.
Stuff like that. Yeah, everything was so attainable and available for me. There was like a dining hall right next to the gym, so food, everything was there.
So
Freshmen
yeah,
dorm
they made it.
close.
Yeah, they made it really easy for you as an athlete
Yeah,
to go from one place to another without losing any time. That's
that,
basically it.
exactly. But yeah, for me, being a foreign kid, between all the Americans, because Wisconsin isn't really known for recruiting a lot of foreigners. I think I was the first foreigner there in like 10, 20 something years.
Wow.
Um, so that for me opened a lot of doors too. It's people look at you with a different eye than they look at other recruits. So it was a great experience for me. Yeah, I'm really really that step.
So this was a choice that you made almost immediately, but you still have to be like really picked by the coach and the club or school, right? So what made Wisconsin go after you?
I mean, kind of just what I said earlier. The fact that I was obviously tall. You
Mm,
don't find a lot of tall guys like that easily. And then obviously my ability to shoot, my ability, my technicality. They really liked that a lot. Their recruiting pitch was like, "Oh, you can be the next Frank Kaminsky," and
really?
obviously that's a little over the top. Frank, that's obviously one of the best players to come out of Wisconsin history.
Mm,
But no, yeah, they really love my technical abilities, my ability to shoot, and said like the weight thing is no problem. We got a great strength coach here, who actually used to work with the Chicago Bulls during the Mike
okay.
era through the
All
Derrick
right.
Rose. So he had great experience. So yeah, that was something. Yeah, they really felt confident in.
Yeah, really cool. But the first year you were redshirted, right?
Exactly.
How did that happen? Like, why? For people that don't know, explain what is redshirted in the NCAA.
So the NCAA has a rule, which says you can only, after you graduate high school, you can only be doing nothing for 1 year and then enroll into college. But in high school in Belgium, I doubled a
Mm,
year, and then on top of that, I stayed a year out of high school and then went to Wisconsin. And so they saw the year that I doubled as a second year out of my window. Um, so yeah, they said, yeah, that's 1 year too much, and you got to sit out, which was kind of, for me, it made no sense, because
yeah.
NCAA is all about education, and I obviously doubled that year because I wanted to stay on the same track and
Mhm.
lower. Um, but yeah, it is what it is.
But this was something you knew before you even signed to the school, or?
I knew it was kind of up there, and they were always telling me like, we're pretty confident we can get this solved.
Mm,
This is something, we got a lot of great people at the compliance office, and this is something we can solve. But in the end, I didn't really find out until the very first game, like 10 minutes before, like,
no
okay,
way.
not playing, this is it. So
Oof.
yeah, it's a little overwhelming, at that age, and you come to a whole new country, leave everything behind, and then you find out that you're not playing, and then after the game, all those cameras, all those reporters are in your face asking you about things that you don't even know about yet. So
Mm.
yeah, it was a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I can imagine. How did you cope with that? Like,
Pretty well actually. Pretty well. I kind of made like a click right away. Like, doesn't make sense to sit here and be sad about it. My it just was a time for me. Like, okay, I know what I have to work on, and let's just attack that every day. And it was really a year for me to get better and put in extra work. So yeah, it was. I tried to make the best out of it for sure.
was it hard to feel that you were a part of the team by being redshirted? I mean, you cannot play the games. You can just do the workouts and yeah, during
Yeah,
the game you just sit there. So
it's really everything. You do everything with the team except for play
yeah,
and travel to the other schools that you play at. So I had to stay in Wisconsin the whole time. So yeah, that was hard, because while the whole team is like bonding and then doing,
mm,
you kind of like feel a little bit like an outsider. But then again, like I saw so many things during those games. Obviously the college game was a new game to me, so sitting out and really seeing how the game works was good for me. I saw things that you don't see while you're playing. You see different things with a different eye. So for me, that was kind of like I said, another positive out of a negative. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. After that first year, a hard year for you. What is the thing that you learned the most if you look back at it?
Poof. The thing I learned the most. I don't know. I feel like whatever situation you're in, to just keep fighting and keep working. The moment is gonna come. It's not because you get knocked down that you have to like
Yeah,
give up, give in. For me, that was really time to work on myself and really focus in on a lot of things. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that it taught me to keep working, keep fighting, even though things might not go your way.
and then finally you get to play. How did it feel like to step on the court finally after a year of redshirt and then getting
Amazing,
on? Yeah,
amazing, especially at a school like that. Um, it felt amazing, because sitting out 1 year is a lot. Um, I ended up not playing, a lot for 3 years there, but
mhm.
after sitting out that 1 year and finally being able to put on that jersey was just a amazing feeling for me. So yeah,
And how did it went in like those couple of years that you stayed
it was tough.
Wisconsin?
It was tough.
Wisconsin? Yeah.
My head coach, the one I talked about, Bo Ryan, he retired. So a different coach took over. We didn't really have a great relationship. Um, it was kind of a thing where I also didn't get recruited by him. So that was
Mm.
a factor too, I think. But no, we really didn't have a good relationship at all. He was telling me a lot of weird things as to why I was not playing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a weird time for me. But another thing for me to put that aside and just keep working. So
So it's safe to say that these couple of years with Wisconsin has made you mentally a very strong player or person even because I mean you expect to play for a legendary coach, then you
yeah.
can't. Then you get another coach that doesn't really want you to play.
Mm,
I mean, I think a lot of players would already have the idea of, okay, I'm just going home now. I mean, this is not something I want, but
yeah.
you went through this, so I imagine that this made you a whole lot of stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to stay in college and leave college with a good taste in my mouth.
Mhm.
I left the college for, with a goal, and I didn't just want to come back to Belgium and be like, oh, look, another guy who tried
Yeah.
to college who didn't make it and came back. Because that was really, the thought at the time in Belgium, like, oh, look at these guys going to college, they're never going to make it. They're either never going to play or they're not going to become better players, and then they're just going to come back to Belgium. So they're
Mm.
back the same place they started at. So for me, that also played a part in my head, and just not wanting to go back and being seen as like a failure. So
Why do you think a lot of people in Belgium think that way? Why do they think, or why do they expect Belgian young players to fail if they go to the NCAA?
um, it really depends on the level and the school you go to. But at the time, obviously you had good talents, um, like Retin,
Hmm.
uh, Thomas de Tay, guys like that. Obviously Thomas Akazili. You had really good talents who said, I don't want to play in Belgium anymore. I want to go to college. And I think a lot of people took that the wrong way and were like, Belgium is better
Hmm.
and develop you better here. And I was always thinking like, all right, like every year you bring in these Americans from college who play heavy minutes, and the Belgians are always either sitting on the bench or playing like 10 minutes a game and have pretty much no role. So how are you telling me that I have to stay here,
Mm.
help to become into that role instead of going to college and um, become those guys? Because those guys
Mm.
have great education. They get a great development basketball wise.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was kind of my mindset too. Like you get in all these Americans, then if it's so much better here, then why aren't you playing the Belgian guys over the Americans?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, of course, if you think about it.
no.
Uh, but would you say if you would have had the chance, like the Americans did within Belgium, that you would have stayed in Belgium?
If I would have what? Sorry.
If you would have the chance to play
Mm-hmm.
as many minutes as those Americans would have, that you
Mm-hmm.
would stay in Belgium, that you wouldn't even think about going to NCAA?
Um, I mean, at the time it was hard too, because I was what 17, 18 years old, and to be honest, I really wasn't ready to play in first division yet. Uh,
Mm.
maybe at the time I thought I was, but I feel like every guy that age thinks they're ready or think minutes. But no, for me, I wasn't ready at the time. But no, I mean, I don't know how it would have went, but yeah.
Okay, well, going back to the NCAA, after your years with Wisconsin, you moved to another college, William and Mary Tribe.
Yep.
Um, why did, yeah, you already told that you did have like the best connection with your coach, so that probably will be a factor why you changed schools.
Hmm.
Um, how was your experience going to another school?
Crazy again. Um, I got recruited by a coach, one of the assistants. He used to play for North Carolina back in the day, and he kind of went through the same situation a little bit where he didn't play a whole lot, and I was really able to relate to that guy.
Mm.
We just had a great relationship right off the bat. He really showed interest, and as soon as I announced that I was transferring, like a couple days later, he actually flew into Wisconsin to come see me,
Okay.
which isn't really like a habit. Usually, it's like people invite you for a visit to their school, but
Mm.
this, like I'm coming over there. He just had lunch with me for 2 hours and then went back. And he was
Okay,
like,
that's
"I
nice.
have you for a visit." So, they really showed a lot of interest. But no, another crazy story. Like I committed there, had to sit out a year again, and then after that year, the coach got fired. So the whole staff,
No way.
I was like, oh yeah, not this again, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, then a new coach came in, and like great coach, great person. It couldn't have went better, to be honest.
Yeah.
it's actually funny because back in like 2012, 2013, they used to come, like college teams used to come to Belgium and play exhibition games against Giants 2 and
Yeah.
Hembo. And there was one time where Bucknell came, and he was actually an assistant coach on that Bucknell team. And yeah, we didn't find out until like halfway through the season, like, yo, you used to coach against me when I was like 16 years old, and
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But no, great coach and great assistant coach as well that came in after that. And another, I mean, I think I had four coaches in my college career, which I don't think a lot of people can say. So it's been kind of a lot of turmoil, but no,
Yeah.
I'm so glad I made the step to William and Mary.
Yeah, and actually, it was one of your best years in college because you really went out of NCAA with a bang. You
Yeah,
were you were having like the greatest numbers, like scoring wise, rebounding wise, and you were selected within the CAA third team at that time.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, that was like the best thing that could happen indeed to you.
Definitely, definitely. That was also one of the reasons why I wanted to transfer. To
Yeah.
go to a school where I could have a bigger role. Become a bigger part of the team, and um, obviously the goal was always to play pro. And in order to play pro, you gotta show what you can do. So
Mm.
going to a team like that in a situation like that was perfect for me, and the perfect way to set up my pro career.
You had 10 double doubles that season, right?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of double doubles. So was that something that people started noticing, or that they would think about? Okay, Andy probably is a good player.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, there were always some doubts about the level that we played at.
Mm,
But we played some great teams in our non-conference season as well. Teams like Oklahoma,
mm.
Stanford, played some other great teams like American. Um, we really had some good competition, and I was really able to show myself in those as well. So that was really important for me as well to show that I can play at the level that being at Wisconsin all those years, it wasn't just a fact of me not being good enough. Um, but really, really proven that I belong there. So
What would you say is the most important thing that you take back from, or take from your time with the NCAA basketball wise, that you can also use as a pro player now?
um, it's a little different, because college is more supposed to be of a family atmosphere.
Mm,
The pros, it's more of like a business. But I kind of found out in college too. It's really a business, and a lot of things ride on the success of the team. So at the end of the day, like coaches or schools are going to make the decisions based off of like what's best for their program. And, at first that was kind of hard to grasp, for me. But yeah, like I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. That at the end of the day, it's a business and
mm.
something not personal. So um, you got to look out for yourself as well.
So not being more the naive young basketball player with dreams to go to the NBA and
Yeah.
thinking that basketball is just like a fun game to play all day.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. At a certain point, it becomes more of a job than it really is like a hobby. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Was that something that you expected to happen? Was that something that you thought of like, oh, if this is it, I didn't think this would go that way.
yeah. I mean, like I said, my goal was always to end up playing pro.
Mm.
Um, so I never thought like, oh, this is it after this. Like, I guess I'm done. But
Mm.
yeah, no.
So you decided then to go for your pro career and you
Mhm.
end up in Lithuania. Tell
Yep.
us, how did that happen?
Um, at the time I was going through, the like interviews with some NBA teams, and me and my agent, we always thought like, let's look at that route first, see if we can like maybe uh, a G League deal, if it's like a good deal with like an option like an exhibition 10, um, something like that. So I had like I think about 6 interviews with some teams, and yeah, we always said like let's go through with this process unless a good offer comes along out of Europe. Um, and then yeah, then obviously COVID hit more and more. I was supposed to go to the Portsmouth Invitational, which was another huge tournament. It would have been great for me, to show myself there. But obviously that didn't happen. So the chances to like prove myself really became limited. And yeah, then obviously Lithuania came along, and my agent was like, this is a good situation where you're gonna be able to play a lot right off the bat. A coach that's going to give you a lot of confidence, a lot of freedom, and obviously it's in a great league. So I think this is a perfect situation for you. Obviously, like the choice is up to you, but like this is something we really need to look into. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, Lithuania became the destination, and yeah.
Yeah, I would say from my experience, like I don't know anything about Lithuanian basketball. So how is the level there? What is it? How can you compare it with other championships?
It's a good level. I mean, obviously you got the top teams like Zalgiris, who plays EuroLeague. Um, Yesterday we played Ritas Vilnius, which is another great team. Um, you got Ncaa, who played in Euro Cup against Antwerp. Um, and then yeah, you got a lot of other really good teams who have great Americans, and who play really good basketball. Obviously, Lithuania is really a basketball country.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's a really good league. It's a physical league, but also very technical. You really got to be able to shoot, to put the ball on the floor, to be a smart player. So it's a strong league for sure.
yeah, and they also have like a great national team as well, and Belgian Lions already played against them.
Yep,
Um, so you could say that Lithuanian basketball championship is stronger than the Belgian one.
I would say so. At the
Yeah,
moment, it definitely is.
and you're doing well. You're
I'm doing.
playing good. So I think it's also like, is it within your head like, okay, see, I can do this. People that told me that I couldn't succeed in NCAA, see where I'm at now.
Mm. No, I mean definitely. I always believed in myself, of my own capabilities. Um, so to be able to do this is really, a validation to the work I put in over the years and the belief I kept having in myself. So uh,
Mhm.
it really, it feels really good to finally be able to play. After sitting out for 3 years, and then last year I got my first full year of playing, and then this year I'm putting my second year down. So I'm still getting used to playing again because not playing for
Yeah,
a lot of time. So yeah, it just feels great for me to finally just be playing again.
yeah.
Yeah.
How is the level of professionality within Lithuania compared to NCAA?
On what level?
Yeah, like the venues, the facilities, the way they approach you as a player.
Um, I mean, obviously the facilities are kind of similar. Um, college is a little different because you have so many other things surrounding it.
Mhm.
But really nice gym over here. We got a good weight room. Um, Facilities are really nice. The venue is nice. It's a big arena. Obviously, the college arenas are a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
Depends obviously what school you're talking about, but No, I mean that the people here are professional too. You know, this is their job to be a
Yeah.
coach, to be a strength coach, to be a physio, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really professional level.
Do you feel another kind of pressure when you're playing for a pro team in Lithuania than you did before?
I mean it's a different feeling. Obviously, when you're playing in college, it's like you have a bad game and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's get up. You know, it's I can learn from this. But obviously, in the pros, it's a different
Mhm.
world. You see people getting cut left and right for not performing. But no, I don't really feel pressure. Um, I think when I don't feel pressure or I don't put that into my head, I play better. When I'm more relaxed, I play more freely and I really
Mm.
perform better. So yeah.
What is your goal within this competition? Is it your goal to maybe join a team like Salgiris, or do you think like,
Um, to be honest, my focus is really not set on anything past this year.
yeah,
Um, I think I've learned from the past too. Like I just gotta focus on what I have in the moment and not look too far ahead. Um, I'm having a good season right now, so it's important for me to keep that going and try to make the best out of it. And we'll see what happens after that. Obviously, it's my dream and goal to end up at that level someday for sure. But yeah, for the moment, it's just I just got to focus on this year.
do you talk a lot to your peers like Bako and Kazili about your situation? And I mean, they have experienced more or less the same kind of level of play, and some have evolved a lot. And do you guys still talk a lot to each other about this?
Yeah, I mean, I stay in touch with some of those guys for sure. Obviously, a little bit more with the guys that I used to play with in Antwerp because
Yeah.
we have more of that relationship. But yeah, no, I mean, we stayed in touch throughout the years, especially with Thomas. He went through the same situation going to
Yeah.
college. Another, great example that we can really, talk to each other about situations. Thomas the Thai as well, who kind of went through that situation with college, so I stay in touch with him every now and then. Um, and then, yeah, obviously, seeing some of those guys back in November with the national team, like Vincent, Hans,
Yeah.
play with in the youth teams, Manu. So yeah, still stay in touch with some of those guys for sure.
Yeah, because for people that don't really know, but you were selected for the Belgian Lions, our national team, in November, and that was like the first time for you. You're also there. You were a rookie. Um, what was the situation that you ended up like in NCAA and now in Lithuania? Did it help you? You think did it help that you could bring those numbers eventually?
I mean, going to the national team for me was one of the best things that could have happened for my season. I gained so much confidence, coming back from that. Um, I really remember when I came back from that week. Obviously you're around a great coach in
Hmm.
Coach Terja, around great players who play at good levels as well in Europe, and to be around those guys and to actually play in a game against you know those two teams really gave me so much confidence. Like, okay, like I belong here. Um, I'm good enough to do this and that, and yeah, I think ever since I came back from that, I really stepped it up. You know, another level. So yeah, I mean, going to the national team was a great thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But were you surprised that they called you to join the selection?
Um, I mean, yes and no. Obviously, it was my first time, being with the selection, so that on its own is a surprise. Because it's a great honor to play for the national,
Mm.
and it's amazing to be a part of that. But then also, I knew I was having an okay season, and I kind of knew that maybe like I would be in the preliminary roster, but I really didn't. Yeah, like I said, it was amazing for me.
Yeah. So besides confidence, what do you think you learned the most from being around all those guys with the Belgian Lions? All that experience, all that level of play that you experienced there. Also with Coach Gerja, what did he really bring to you during that short amount of time?
Obviously, it was a group that hasn't really played a whole lot together before, so
Hmm.
you can only do so much in a week together as a team. So it wasn't really focused on like this is wrong, that is wrong. Like
Hmm.
mistakes happen, but yeah, I mean, Coach Jerz was really detail oriented. Um, we watched a lot of film. And, we watched film in a different way than what I've watched film with other coaches. Um, he really, looks at the system and the players in a different way. It's hard to explain, but um, no, I mean, I learned a lot from just being there.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, the other guys on the team, they really helped me out a lot as well. When you have guys with obviously great experiences playing professional, they can really add to my game and my confidence as well.
So I'm guessing that you would love to be there each time again and again. If every time you get to that team and you can step up your level of confidence, it will just help you
Definitely, definitely. I
increase
mean,
your level. Yeah. How
yeah,
far do you think this team can go? Like we have all these young players coming up. We have you, we have Hans, we have a lot of other players that really are stepping up their game. The future looks bright, I must admit. So, what do you think? What do you feel like with this level of talent that's in the group? How far can we go with this team?
I mean, time will tell, I guess. But no, like you said, we have a lot of great talents. I think this is like a lot of guys are starting to play at great levels in Europe, which is only going to make those guys better. Obviously, you have a great mix of veterans who play at a great level,
Mm,
and then the young generation coming in. So I think it's really like a prime a prime time for Belgian basketball, and the future is looking really bright as well. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely on the rise.
mm.
But like I said, time will tell. We'll see.
So, if you would be able to choose one player of that team, which one would you say? I try to copy as much as what he does. Like I look at him and I try to be as good as him. Who would it be?
Oof. I haven't really done that with the Belgian national team yet. Um, I feel like it's hard as well because I don't think like I'm very similar to
Mm,
a lot of guys that play in the national team. I feel like everybody brings their own thing. Obviously, um, Pierre Antoine is a great shooter. Um, a guy that I used to be in Antwerp with when I was young was Maxime Dezeo.
mm.
Great player, great leader as well. Um, but yeah, it's hard to really say like that's a guy I model my game after.
Yeah,
It's not like I'm gonna compare my game to Bucko, who's
yeah, 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 of course.
like freak and like a little different from my game. So yeah, I don't really compare or try to model my game after
But you
somebody.
do have like your idols, like the players that you really look up to, maybe in the NBA or anywhere else that you can say, yeah, this is really this guy I would love to be, of
Yeah.
love to get his level of play, you know?
Um, I think looking at Mirotic, Barcelona, looking a little bit at Porzingis, maybe Sabonis, obviously Dirk
Yeah.
was that. So yeah, just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're right if you say that the future for Belgian basketball looks bright. At least if you look at the national team.
Hmm.
What do you think about the evolution within just the national championship, the league? Now we're going to get more teams from the Netherlands as well. Do you follow that evolution? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I still watch some of the games. Obviously, got some friends playing there still. Watch Charleroi every now and then with Yuri Schupa.
Mm,
Um, then obviously I still watch Antwerp, watch Ostende, some of those teams. But no, I think it's a great thing that they're really gonna merge those two leagues, and so it becomes a little bit less repetitive too for Belgian teams. Obviously you're playing so many rounds against each other, and after the third or fourth round, you're like these guys again, like
yeah.
new competition. So on that aspect, I think it's great. Um, I haven't really looked too deep into like the details and how it's going to work with playoffs and all that, obviously. But no, I think it'll be great to have new competition, new challenges. I think it's a great thing, which also attracts more fans again. Because
Mm,
I mean, not a lot of fans are going to be interested in watching you play their team play this team for the third time.
yeah.
So I think it's going to be a better thing for fan attraction as well.
Can you compare like the level of fandom in Belgium with Lithuania? How does it look like in Lithuania? Like media exposure, fans?
It's a little different right now with lockdown
Yeah,
but from what I've seen, like Lithuania is crazy, like crazy about basketball. Um, like I said, it's really a basketball country compared to Belgium, who's more, obviously a soccer country. Um, but no, like the things I've seen over here, and in the beginning of the season, we actually played with fans, and our first game of the season was against Zalgiris.
hmm.
Um, getting a little taste of that was just like, wow, this is amazing. So
What
it's
about
hard.
the media? What about the media exposure? Do you like?
Um, like I said, it's different right now with COVID,
Yeah,
because there's really nobody like putting a camera in your face,
yeah,
not really allowed. But um, yeah, like I said, it's hard to compare right now. But from
mhm.
what I've heard, it's crazy over here. So
So if you would be able to choose, you would stay in Lithuania, I guess.
compared to Belgium, or
Well, just no, in general. I mean, I know that a lot of people would love to see you come back to Antwerp, but I guess that's not something that you're really looking at right now for the next year.
yeah, I mean maybe not right now, but who knows in the future?
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see how it plays itself out.
because the end of the season is like right around the corner, right? When does it end in Lithuania? In a couple of
Um,
months. Yeah.
we got a lot of games to play, so I think we
Yeah.
got I think 20 22
Yeah.
games to. So I don't think we're even halfway yet because we've had so many quarantines. So I
Mm,
think we had two or three quarantines so far. So we have to make up a lot of games.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're almost at the end. I just wanted to ask you like one more question.
Okay.
Like, how does an ideal basketball world look like for you?
Ideal basketball world. That's a good question. I think obviously to play at a really competitive level. Um, I think at a place where I can really have access to like a gym at all times, whenever I want to. I think a sunny place, compared to it's nice here, but I'm not really a winter person. But like obviously a sunny place with a beach or something would be amazing. Yeah, that's kind of
So something like playing in Miami Heat or something.
something like, I think it's also nice to have like the nature and the calm, to really be able to focus on basketball and all that stuff. But yeah, like a situation like Spain or something would be amazing. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you somewhere in Spain for sure. I think a lot of Belgian players are going that way, so who knows?
We'll see.
Thank you again, Andy, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck in Lithuania. We're going to keep in touch for sure. We're going to follow you with This Is Basketball for sure. And yeah, we're going to switch over or try to switch over now to Instagram Live to add a little bit more questions there. So people who are watching can switch over to Instagram and we see each other there in a few minutes. Thanks again and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.